Okay, welcome everyone to the Matri Satsang of Sri Anandamayi Ma. Sorry, I just walked in the door. I've got to get my thoughts together. As we always say, we meet every month like this to remember Anandamayi Ma, not just to remember, to invoke her, to be in her presence, to study her teachings and lives, to see what she means to us. And Ma is so much more than just a teacher or an historical character. She was and is the living embodiment of perfect divine consciousness unveiled, the true self of us all, who is unveiled before us. And she, by remembering her, we begin to wake up. That's the important thing. That her one wish for us is to wake up and to come into the fullness of our own true spiritual stature, which is perfect divinity. And we're all so lost in this world. This human condition is a condition of forgetfulness, a condition of complacency, a condition of being obsessed, especially in this Western culture, with the daily thoughts and the rounds of things that we have to do. So of our own, we find it's impossible to break out of this limited way of thinking, this limited way of identifying ourselves as a separate individual. But Ma was the manifestation of perfect unity. So the very thought of Ma breaks us out of this cycle and awakens us to a higher way of thinking. So throughout the day, if we can remember Ma, and remember her name, remember her teachings, she'd always say, remember this friend of yours.
Oh.
Meaning herself. Remember this friend of yours. So that's what we're doing. We're remembering our real friend with a capital F. And knowing that Ma is there for everyone. Ma is the embodiment of love and maternal affection. And just there for us. And as I always say, those of you who are here regularly, you hear me say the same thing pretty much every month. But it's important to remember, because like I say, we're in a realm of forgetfulness. We also started the satsang for what we're doing now, having community, getting to know each other, supporting each other, helping each other, encouraging each other. The world is a crazy place, and it is in a nosedive downward spiral at the moment. So we need each other. We need each other, and we need to help each other and be there for each other. So that's the other reason we're here. So because of that.
Also the recording disclaimer.
That's right. Thank you. Renewing my external memory. We have to disclaim we are recording this, and we do share it on our YouTube channel, which is Anandamayi Ma Satsang West. But we hope people will still participate, because it's seen by devotees, so we're all family. So let me change this here. So introductions. For those who are watching or coming for the first time, my name is Mangalananda, and we are here in the presence of Ma's Paduka, the very shoes she wore on her feet, which were very small.
Tiny.
Very small hands and feet. And I received Diksha from Ma in 1973 in her Vrindavan ashram, having gone there specifically to meet her and travel with her around India in 73, 74, and have been living in her lineage ever since, and had wonderful, blessed time with many of her great disciples like Swami Bhaskarnandaji, Swami Kedarnath, Swami Nirvanananda, Swami Nirgunananda, different, and of course our own Ashok Kulkarni, who was the patron of our ashram in India, Ma Shodanam Ashram. And I was given the title Acharya, which just means a person who's supposed to spread Ma's teachings without getting in the way of that. And this is my wife.
I'm Gloria, and I received Diksha from Ma when she was out of her body. And I don't know any of those people except Swami Guru Sharan and Baba Kedarnath.
Okay.
And hopefully you guys.
Yeah. She's
And
still
I'm
great, though, let me tell you.
Still happy to be here, and it's wonderful to be together.
Thank you. And our co-host, as always, is Pragya Hallstrom, who is the author of Mother of Bliss, which has become a archetypal book in Ma's library of Ma's literature. and also the editor of the book We'll Reach on the Day, The Gospel of Sri Anandamayi Ma, and also is the host of our ashram in Massachusetts. So Pragya, will you say hello?
Jai Ma, everyone. So good to see you. We're still shining from the weekend that we had last weekend with Swami Guru Sharan. He gave a 2-day retreat on Zoom from Ma Sharanam in India. And with Ma's grace, it went so beautifully. And some of you were there, I'm so happy to say. And we came out of it with 4 lovely videos for people who want to watch it again. So the whole thing was just, we had no idea how close we could feel as a Sangha while being on Zoom around the world. It was really wonderful. So I'm so grateful to Ma. Thank you.
Thank you, Pragya. And it's true, Pragya is doing amazing work here at the ashram, doing satsangs every week, almost, and hosting all these things. It's really wonderful. I was there for the morning for the Zoom satsang with Swamiji. He's such a dynamic teacher, and really, really wonderful. It was a great time. A great job, Pragya and Ramani hosted it all. And we'll be talking later how Ramani will be leading people to Ma Sharanam Ashram in India for an in-person retreat in January. And I'll be there also. I'm going a little bit later, but I'll be there also in India. So, Rainu, will you introduce yourself, our technical host and ever ready to serve Sevak and dear sister and friend, Rainu?
Jai Ma, I'm so happy to be back. I missed you all so much. I got certified as a meditation teacher when I was gone, and I'm really happy to be back and see everyone. It looks like we already have a hand up, Nirmala. Yes.
Pragna, I have tried to email you. I was trying to register for that, and it seems that my emails don't go through to you. So
I'm so sorry, Nirmala, but I would be happy to. Why don't you put your email in the chat now?
okay.
Because you could certainly register for the retreat and get the 4 videos after the fact. I know some people are setting aside a day in the future to just have the retreat at home. So please leave me your email.
Yeah, go in the other direction. Pragya can email you, and maybe that will go through, and you can get the thread.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks for telling me.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Okay,
welcome,
Rainu, so you want to
Nirmala.
introduce people and tell how we're going to do it?
Yes, welcome, Nirmala. Just okay. Yes, so I will call your name. I'm just gonna go down the participant list here, and then you can unmute yourself and tell us just briefly where you're from. This is just the introductions, and then later on we'll have time for extended sharing. Okay, so we're gonna start with, first on my list is Chris Redfield.
Hello. So wonderful to be with you, excellent people. I'm from Humboldt County in Northern California.
Good to see you, Chris, and it's nice to see you coming regularly. And we're not that far away from you. If we ever have something in person, we can hopefully see you in person too. That's just nice. I've met many of you now that I've only seen online in person, and we're getting to know each other. It's really nice. Yeah, when we had our in-person Matri Satsang retreat last September with Swamiji from India, I met a lot of you for the first time too. It was great. We hope to have that this year too. We'll see with all our busyness. So Rainer, please continue.
Okay, Jema, welcome, Chris. And next on my list is Danielle. So welcome.
Be sure to unmute bottom left of your screen. Danielle, you want to say hello?
Maybe a little shy. Okay, let's go on to Linda and David for now, and Danielle wants to come back later if she can.
There you go, Linda. Yes, we are Linda and David. We're in Williamsburg, Virginia, and we are so glad to see that Rena was back with us. We wondered where she was, and we have missed you.
Aw,
Jana,
See you guys.
Yeah.
Jay
That's
Ma,
nice. We were able to meet in person in Yogaville when I was there doing some work. Good.
That was
Welcome,
nice.
you guys.
Okay.
Jay Ma, thank you for the warm welcome. And next up, Greg.
Hi, J-Ma. My name is Greg. I live in Rio Rancho, New Mexico.
Welcome, Greg. Always good to see you also. This is
Welcome.
kind of a interesting group this month. It's all people we know personally.
Welcome, Greg. In May, I was also in New Mexico for the Siddhi Ma Shrine opening in Taos, so that was really special. It's good to be near you. Let's see. Next, Janet and David.
Jay Ma,
Everybody.
we're waiting for Dr. Patak and Hina, and
Oh, good.
they should be coming any minute, so hopefully they get to.
They'll be here as well.
And when
Yeah.
they come, do please speak up so we can say hello. Even if they're late.
Yeah,
they're doing something
yeah.
else.
We're gonna move out of the field so that they can sit down and maybe share, but we're here from Florida. Thank
Good
you.
to see you guys. I understand, all the circumstances, but I hope you can make it to India to my
Yeah,
Really,
yeah,
great to have you guys there.
yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Jay Ma, welcome to you both. And, oh yeah, Molly. Molly from New York.
Jay Ma, Molly from the East End of Long Island. Happy
Good
to
to
be
see
with
you.
you. Nice to see you.
Jay Ma, Molly.
Jay Ma.
And welcome, Molly. And next up, oh, we already said hi to Nirmala. Nirmala is joining us. Where are you from again, Nirmala?
I'm in Seattle.
Seattle. Okay.
Good to see you, Nirmala. It's been a while. Happy to see you very much.
And then next up is Steve.
Hi, everybody. I'm new. I'm Steve. I'm up in Canada, and I'm just outside of Toronto. I'm happy to be here.
Jay Ma, welcome, Steve. And we acknowledge Canada as a separate country, and we honor it with all great devotion.
Welcome, Steve.
Yeah, really nice to have you, Steve.
We're missing Shama, who is also from Canada. Not here.
Oh yeah, Shama's not here. I think she's in the same area. I think she's in the Toronto area.
But I think that's for everybody. We kind of a light group today.
Yeah, small group this month.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everyone, and let's start. As we usually do. Again, this is for just building our faith in Ma, because we can have our own experience of, first I got to meet Ma, which is wonderful, but our own interaction with Ma, even if we didn't meet her in the body. But it's nice to hear people who met her who were like highly exalted and speak of what their experience of Ma is. It strengthens our faith. So first of all, we meet Ma's own words, of her words of assurance. So this is Ma speaking in the first person, although she sometimes speaks in the third person and usually refers to herself as this body, Yesharir. Okay, here's what Ma says. I am ever with each one of you, wherever you happen to be, but your vision is tied down to worldly matters and you have little times to direct your eyes to this body in your thoughts and actions. What can I do? But know it for certain that whatever you do in thought and deed, whether you are near or in distant lands, how much more clearly can she be referring to all of us? Whether you are near or in distant lands, never escapes my loving attention. Just as at a flash of torchlight, your faces gleam forth in their bold outlines, all your facial expressions appear in my mind when you meditate on me or talk about me or sit down to pray to me. So in her infinite consciousness, the moment we just remember Ma, she remembered us first, and she sees this in her own heart and mind. She continues, for this body, the question of accepting or declining anyone does not arise. At all times and under all circumstances, in inspiration and in dryness, this body remains with and ever will remain with everyone. Amazing. She says the Atma, the soul of this body, within this body, is the Atma of all. And listen to this. She says, it cannot be that anyone anywhere is not Ma's very own. So we are Ma's very own. And like I never tire of saying, those of you who hear it all so often, Ma said, you can't think of me unless I first think of you. So the fact that we're here, we have an interest in Ma, we're spending our time thinking of Ma, it shows that Ma thought of us, that we have her grace. So it's wonderful because we have the grace of Ma, but it's also a great responsibility. We have no excuse now. We have Ma's grace, so it's up to us to learn how to use it, which is part of our satsang time. We learn, what does Ma require of us, or what does she request of us to go further? Let's go further. This is good. You ask me if I love you. You may or may not be able to be without me, but I simply cannot do without any of you. Because she is infinite consciousness. And in this universe, one little cell missing, the whole body collapses. So all of us are a part of God's universe, and very, very important. Mas goes on and continues, if anyone discloses to this body any special line of sadhana, it can be described in minute detail the various stages of that very line. That's because during her sadhana period, when all these different sadhanas played through her body, she experienced every single practice that any spiritual discipline requires. She experienced in her body, so she's literally the embodiment of sadhana. So any practice she can immediately disclose perfectly. Here's a good one. See, I've got several pages of things she said we've collected. This body responds also to the fervent cry of those who have never even seen it. Let's read that again. This body responds also to the fervent cry of those who have never even seen it. In other words, those who didn't get a chance to meet Ma in the body, she still hears them. Our face is still shining in her mind when we speak. This is interesting also. Whenever anyone does anything depending on this body, remember she's using the pronoun this body instead of I. Whenever anyone does anything depending on this body, if there is a chance of ill fate for that person, it is born and manifested within this body. Now that was why this is a phenomenon that Ma told us many times. This body has no karma. It was not brought into existence by karma, as all of your bodies are, all our bodies. It was brought into existence by the fervent cry of people. So she was the answer to the prayer of mankind. So she had no karma. So she should, by that means, never be sick. But Ma was almost continually in some kind of physical crisis, health crisis. She was always sick, always thinking, because of that very thing. And she said, I take on all these things in people. So she had different ways of just taking on people's karma. And she said, if we were depending on her and we do something inauspicious, that karma goes to her and she bears it so that we can get beyond it. And she would be very ill. It's interesting. I talked to many people who were with her at this time. When she would be ill, like one of some of her attendants, they all said, Ma would be very ill and suddenly it would be over and she would manifest a yogic asana. She would suddenly like go into Dhanura asana or some asana. Suddenly, whoosh, she would go into an asana and it'd be gone. And she'd be perfectly happy, perfectly well, until the next thing she took on. So she was a supernatural thing. So she's saying herself, she takes on things when we depend on her and take refuge in her. And she says, I do not wait for your spiritual readiness. Like the flowing Ganges, I go on bestowing my compassion on all. Even diseases approach this body in various shapes, but it rejects none. She would see diseases in humanoid form. She'd be able to tell, and it would come and relate to her and ask if it, and she said, yes, come play in this body. I've told before this that there was a time she was sitting on her bed and she was discussing something with someone, and she kept going like this. There was nobody over there. And somebody finally asked her, what are you doing? And she said, the form of fever is sitting on the edge of the bed and weeping because it wants to come and play in this body, and I'm telling it to wait. So she finished the conversation and she went, come on. And woof, she had like 104 fever. So Ma was a supernatural phenomenon. But then she says, if this body behaved with you like an omniscient being, none of you would come near me. So she would also relate to us in a very human way, in a very beautiful, approachable way. Whoever has been once drawn to love this body will never succeed in wiping out its impression, even despite hundreds of attempts to forget Ma. This body rests and shall remain in their memory for all times. I like this last one always. This is universal consciousness speaking. Ma said, anyone calling out for God from any land, in any language, and in any age, remember, their cries reach this heart like waves crashing onto the shore. So So beautiful. And I'd like to read a little bit about just what different spiritual masters at the time, what they thought of Ma, because she was venerated throughout India. You know Sri Aurobindo in Pondicherry, the great yogi, and there was a Western lady who was kind of his spiritual sidekick. They called her the Mother. In Pondicherry, the Mother once remarked to a visiting devotee, quote, "There is a woman in North India who does not belong to time. She is vast and empty like the sky, yet full like the ocean. One day she will dissolve into that silence." This remark was later confirmed by Sri Dilip Kumar Roy, who was a shishya of Ma and Sri Aurobindo. He would come often to Ma, Sri Dilip Kumar Roy, great bhajan singer. Swami Chidananda was the direct assessor of the great master Swami Shivananda of Rishikesh of the Divine Life Society. And his disciples are the ones who came and brought yoga to the West back in the 60s and 70s and created all these different ashrams and yoga centers we see all over the world. Swami Chidananda was considered India's greatest living yogi. I met him several times because he was very close to Ma. I met him in Shivananda Ashram back in the 70s, and he was a great. And okay, the Guru never gives compliments. The Guru is there to correct us and bring us on. Swami Shivananda, who was a great illumined master, said about Swami Chidananda, who is his disciple, he said, "This is an illumined saint." If you get a recommendation from your Guru, you're doing pretty good. So, Swami Chidananda frequently spoke of Anandamayi Ma, describing her as a being of pure consciousness and bliss, a, quote, luminous mass of dazzling bliss consciousness, unquote. That was his definition of Ma, because he had divine vision. He could see who she was. He emphasized she was not merely an individual, but a manifestation of the divine, existing on a level of consciousness beyond ordinary human perception. He often described her as being not at all aware of her physical body or the world in the way a normal person would be, but rather in a state of timeless, existing in a state of timeless eternity. He noted all her actions were guided by divine will, and he also possessed a remarkable practicality and groundedness in the world. One more. Okay, anyway, there's so many. Okay, here's one I remember. This is nice. There was a great saint named Sitaram Das Omkarnath. He was born the same year, and I think he died the same year as Ma, very close to Ma. He has to this day, I think, 45 ashrams in India, a living sampradaya. I met his successor when I was living in Ma's ashram in India. His successor came and actually invited me to tea because he heard there was some Western man living there. And he would come to Ma, and they would just they both go into samadhi, just sitting with each other. This is what Sitaram Das Omkarnath said about Ma. Ma is not far from you. She ever resides in the innermost recess of your heart. Ma is the eye of your eyes, the ear of your ears, the word of your words, and the life of your life. Ma envelops this entire universe and exists inside and outside every animate and inanimate object. In her nirguna state, she is your father. In her saguna state, she is your mother. You are the darling of that mother. Then why are you crying? We meditated in this room. Remember, he had his ashram down. One time when Gloria was visiting me in India, we sat in his ashram where he used to meditate. Okay, so let's now, before we get into our intellectual study of Ma's words, let's approach her from the heart. Let's sing the kirtan we always start with, Om Ma Sharanam, which means
sound.
Yeah, I've done it already. I'm just keeping it on musician sound. It's not crackly, right? It's okay.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, I think I'll just keep it on that. Okay, so this Om Ma Sharanam, and this, try to feel Ma's presence here with us. We're thinking of her, and she's thinking of us. So just feel her presence as we sing Om Ma Sharanam. 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 Om Ma Anandamayi Ma, 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 Anandamayi Ma. Om Sharanam, 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 Om Sharanam. Sharanam Om Together one last time. Om Sharanam, Om Sharanam, Om Sharanam, Om Sharanam. So let's sit for a moment and just feel Ma's presence with us. So I always like to read something from Ma's life to see how she lived, some different people's impressions of her. These are just random impressions from people being with Ma. This is on the 13th of March, 1957. Mataji is in Vrindavan. This morning, Sri Bhattakaraj Maharaj, an old sadhu of the Ramakrishna mission, came for her darshan. Because really, all the sadhus in India would come from Ma. He was so venerated. He talked to Mataji for quite a long time. Before leaving, he bowed down, touching the ground with his forehead, and said to the assembled people, "This time he has come in the shape of a woman. In her body, everyone should recognize his own Ishta," that's their own beloved deity. Our connection with Mataji has not been newly established. It has existed from birth to birth throughout eternity. See, these saints who had the vision could see who Ma was. And this is a really important point. Ma said she came to those with whom she already had a connection. So we've had some kind of connection with Ma in the form of worshiping Divine Mother, being a good Christian and venerating the Virgin Mary. Anything we've had with Shakti, with the Devi, with the Divine Mother, Ma is that. But what was interesting was I've talked to so many people about their first darshan of Ma, and it was because it coincided with my first darshan of Ma. And I always say this: there was this utter feeling of familiarity, this more than the mind and the intellect, this soul recognition of looking at Ma. I've known you forever. The soul knows its own Divine Mother. So this is an important thing. He says, our connection with Mataji has not been newly established. It has existed from birth to birth throughout eternity. Raja Pratap Singh of Kuchaman is here. He met Sri Bhakti Maharaj and said to him, regard yourself as Ma's child. She will take everyone across the sea of being. This Sri Bhaktiraj Maharaj is putting up in some dharmashala, that's a pilgrim house, in Vrindavan. In the evening he came again, bringing with him a number of people to witness the performance of Ras Leela in our ashram. That's when they do a play with depicting the life of Krishna. Sri Bhaktiraj's spirit is wonderful. Now this is from Didi's diary. This is Guru Priya Didi talking about just her day-by-day experience with Ma. Sri Bhaktiraj's spirit is wonderful. He is so simple and utterly childlike. With him, no difference of creeds and sects exist. How much faith and veneration he has in Ma. Today, a lady named Kasturi Devi came for Ma's darshan. She is a disciple of Sri Kishori Das Babaji of Vrindavan. She related something most interesting. One night she was crying in her desperate yearning to win the Lord's grace. None of her attempts as sadhana had brought the desired result. Later in the night, she dreamt of a woman dressed all in white, who was accompanied by a girl wearing the ochre robe. The girl took Kasturi's hand and said, why do you cry? Your Lord is here itself. Come with me quickly. She dreamt the same kind of dream on 2 successive nights. A few days ago, she heard someone say that there was a Devi at Vrindavan called Sri Anandamayi Ma. Thus she had come for Ma's darshan today. Udas is one of Ma's main attendants. She wore the Geruva clothes. Udashi is one of the Mataji's attendants who wears the ochre robe. So it says that. Udas was sitting near Mataji. On seeing her, Kasturi Devi was struck with amazement as she recognized in her the girl dressed in her ochre robe of whom she had dreamt for 2 successive nights. Wow. When she therefore scrutinized Ma's face, she realized that the woman in white she had seen in her dream was Ma herself. At night, a few of us sat in Ma's room. The conversation turned to the time when Mataji lived at Bajitpur. Mataji lived at Bajitpur from 1918 to 1924. This is the time of her Leela of Sadhana. We talked about that house for 6 years. Even though Ma was from birth in this state of divine consciousness, she went through, by the divine will, she went through 6 years where all this sadhana just played in her body as she watched it happen. Laughing heartily, Ma related, quote, when this body stayed at Bajipur, a gentleman who was a judge lived near Bholanath's quarters. Bholanath was her husband. At his place, kirtan of Hare Krishna mantra was often sung. This body could distinctly hear the sound, and listening to it, this body would lie as if unconscious. When the judge heard that this body went into such strange states, he advised Bholanath to put a necklace of a mala of tulsi beads around her neck. When Bholanath related this to me, this body responded by saying, ask the judge, what kind of tulsi beads are to be worn, material ones or mental ones? When the judge heard this, he declared that there would be no more need to wear a string of tulsi beads. Jai Ma. Let's do one more. This is nice because it's a impressions by a Westerner, which I knew quite well. Her name was Melita Maschmann. She was a German lady who was a very talented author, written many books, and she was also, she wrote things for periodicals and things. And she was extremely eccentric lady. I won't go into her whole thing. She was extremely eccentric. She'd been a Nazi during World War II and had a conversion experience when she was in jail after the war. But she was totally sincere and totally loved Ma, and we all loved her. She was just an amazing lady. And this is her first impression of Ma. It is more than 10 years, so this is written many years ago. It is more than 10 years since the day when I first met Ma. And up to now, it has been the most important day in my life. I owe it only to my Guru's grace and not to my own understanding that I recognize the importance of this day at once. One day, after having been with Ma for about a month, I said to her, "Ma, I did not come here to love you, but to learn to love God better through you." She was very outspoken. At that time, I was so fascinated by her that it tortured me to part from her at night to go to my dharmasala where I was staying. I have observed this phenomenon since in many newcomers of all ages and both sexes from east and west. Not just newcomers, Ma's brahmacharinis, we call them Ma's girls, who lived with her for decades. They were the same way when they were separated from Ma. It was just like a pain. Ma became this wonderful addiction. I wonder if we could change this direction here. Oh, anyway. It takes time to this is Melita speaking still. It takes time to understand that Ma's irresistible power of attraction has only one purpose: to draw towards God those whose life has but one center of gravitation, their own petty, fearful, and ignorant self. Talking about all of us. I have often felt that Ma has thrown a kind of hook into my heart. If I try to get away from her, it tears painful wounds, and if I follow its pull, it draws me sweetly nearer to her. Suddenly the point is reached when the external senses indeed recognize Ma unchanged, but the inner sense perceives only the presence of God. Interesting insights. Sometimes I saw people coming out of Ma's room reeling after their first darshan. Some of them stand there as if lost for a long time, then suddenly seem to be unable to recognize the world in which they have lived since their childhood. Some of them cry for several days, some others become silent. Others throw themselves to the ground or jump about and shout with joy in the middle of the street like children. At first I surmised that there were people with an unstable balance of mind, but this is not true. In the course of the years, I have seen too many normal people, both Indians and non-Indians, reacting in this striking way. I have never grown tired of simply gazing at her. Sometimes this gazing flows into a sort of mystical perception. In those moments, it is unimportant whether the eyes are closed or open. One sees Ma only as the medium through which one looks into the mysterious reality into which she wants to draw us. Years ago, I said to Ma in a private talk, "I am such an extrovert that I cannot find God within myself, but sometimes I see him in your face." That very night, I made a note in my diary. During the evening darshan, Ma glanced at me. Suddenly her face, which had looked tired, became beautiful beyond description and irradiated by inner light. For an hour she sat silent and without moving on her seat. No one dared to speak. Each cell in her body seemed to vibrate in the joy of a mysterious presence. I had just made the remark that morning, and there it was, called by my longing to see her. If I could that just brings back so many memories, my own memories of being with Ma. That is true. We never tired of looking at her. Ma traveled incessantly. So when we were with Ma, we were always on the move somewhere. We'd be somewhere for a few days, maybe 2 weeks at the most. But wherever we were, every night we had darshan of Ma and asked her questions, and she would sing kirtan in her presence. And usually she would just sit quietly and drawn in herself. And there was a feeling that everyone had that Ma was, even though she would be sometimes sitting with her eyes closed, sometimes we would be sitting with our eyes closed, we felt like she was giving all her attention to each one of us. Afterwards we say, "Oh, Ma was paying attention only to me." No, she was only paying attention to me. So it felt like there was a stream of grace flowing to every single person that would just sit, especially if we just tuned yourself in. And it's true, just looking at her face was continually changing. It was really amazing. There's no human being that can do this. We would look at Ma, sometimes she would look very tired and a little bit sick. Sometimes she would suddenly just be totally radiant. Her face would sometimes look very young, sometimes very old. It was a strange phenomenon. That's why people who tried to paint her or draw an image of her can never capture it, because if you look even at her photographs, they are so varied in their expression, and they just look so different. They look like sometimes like a different person between two different photographs. It's because she couldn't be captured by the body or by space and time. So it was amazing to sit and watch Ma. And also she lived in this flow of divine consciousness, and it manifested in her body even. So sometimes, I remember one time I was sitting very close to her, and she was just talking to someone else, and she was just moving her hand in the expression as she was expressing something. And it was like, there was like a cosmic dance going on. There was just something amazing in her movements and her walk. Like Dee Dee said in her diary, said, we were watching Ma pacing back and forth after dinner, and we were just captivated by her very gait. Because there was just a certain divine dance in her very movements. It was just incredible. It's just that when Melita just said it, just brought that all back. That we watched in amazement, just sit and look at Ma. We would go to the Samyan Sapta, where at the time I didn't speak Hindi. Now I speak Hindi, but so I didn't know Hindi. The Westerners, a few Westerners were there. We would sit and just watch Ma. There'd be talks going on in Hindi. We didn't understand a word, but we'd sit for hours and just look at Ma. It was an incredible thing. So yeah. Well, that's what I've got to say for now. So, Pragya, let's look at Ma for a moment, and then we'll have another reading. I hope now I can share the screen and play just a few minutes of a really wonderful video that someone shared that we have. So let me try to do this technically. Where is share screen? Do you see share screen?
Share screen is at the bottom in green.
Okay. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Is the music coming through, Pragya? Rainu? Good.
It's working well.
She's throwing fruit to people. She was an expert at that.
करने से सीख मिलती
That's Ma speaking.
ये
That's
शरीर
Ma
क्रिया
speaking.
हुआ कुछ नहीं कहेंगे ये शरीर सीधा बात है जो खाने से पीने से और भगवान का तरफ जाने के लिए और सात्विक वृत्ति है वो भाव जागरण हो वही भोजन लेना चाहिए ये हम कहते कुछ
প্রভাত সময়ে সূর্য ডাঙিনার মাঝে গৌর চাঁদ নাচিরা বেড়ায় রে
They're showing Paramananda on Ma's
প্রভাত
right.
সময়ে সূর্য ডাঙিনার
And that's
মাঝে
Udasana.
গৌর চাঁদ নাচিরা বেড়ায় রে জাগনি গো সচি মাতা গৌরাইল প্রেম দাতা 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 ঘরে ঘরে হরির নাম বিলায় রে
बात होता है ना जो इसको को ऐसा खाना इसको को ऐसा खाना इसको को ऐसा खाना ये शरीर देखती है इस सारा दिन का जो प्रोग्राम चल रहा ये हुआ औषध का डोज डोज ये सच बात है कि नहीं बोलो ठीक है कि नहीं
There's Didi Ma. That's Ma's mother, Didi Ma. On her other side. Yeah, it's hard to stop. Like I say, we'll watch more next month because it's such a great video. See, you frequently see Ma being worshipped. Ma never asked to be worshipped. I mean, if actually we say you don't worship this body, but it's first of all it's the Indian way. We want to show respect. We offer pujas and lights, and so it was always done. And it was just the love of the devotees' hearts that when they saw Ma, they just wanted to offer these pujas. I've done Arati of Ma, I think 3 times. One time it was very funny. She was coming to Kanpur, and she was the guest of a big businessman there who was very, very wealthy. He had all these factories and everything. He built a little hermitage for her, and he was there with his family. And I'd come early, and so Ma was going to arrive that night. And you understand, Indians, especially Brahmins, are very picky about foreigners. We don't have a caste, so we're considered kind of outcasts, and our very presence can defile things, you know. But the devotees were fine with each other, though. So anyway, so the whole family was there, and Ma arrived, and they greeted her, and she sat down, and they did plate arati. You know, there's 3 things plate. So the whole family did plate arati, and they were passing around the family. So I was standing there, so I just walked up, and they stood up there. I took the plate and did arati of Ma, which they was just. But Ma was funny, so I got to do arati of Ma and give it back. You got to be bold sometimes, you know. And we were seeing Ma throwing fruit. She was a crack aim with fruit. And one time we were in I think it was in Kanpur that time. There was this tent, and there was maybe 100 people there in front of her, and Ma was there sitting there, and she was throwing fruit to people, and there was just this big rejoicing, exuberant party going on. There was so much fun. People were just so much joy. Someone was singing, and Ma was throwing fruit at people. And I was kind of standing more over to the side here, just watching it all, enjoying it going on. You know, oh, this is great. And suddenly Ma looked over at me, and she threw me a piece of fruit. Then she threw a few more pieces. She looked over again, threw me a piece of fruit. This went on for like 15 minutes, and pretty soon I had a whole armful of fruit. She kept throwing fruit at me, you know. So I walked over, and all the Western people were there, and so I just take some of Ma's prasad, you know. Oh, so many wonderful memories of Mom. Okay, well let's go to Pragya's reading. So Pragya, if you could give a brief to people who maybe who are watching the recording, who aren't familiar with the book, if you could tell about that a little bit, and please give us a reading from Ma.
Jai Ma, yes, I'm happy to. So we're reading from Volume 1 of the Gospel according to Anandamayi Ma. And these two volumes represent the transcriptions and translations of about 50 tapes of Ma giving question and answer sessions between 1960 and 1981. And I was the blessed beneficiary of access to these tapes a number of years ago, and was able to go into the Harvard Divinity School archive and listen to them again and retranslate them, along with the help of Ma's grand niece, Jaya Sanyal. And we just had the most blessed time together, being there and listening to Ma's voice day after day and correcting these translations. So Volume 1, tape number 11, we're going to read from today. And it's quite an extraordinary chapter, because Sri Ma came to Delhi on September 11th, 1961, and was invited by Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who was serving in his second term in the president's house. And there she talked to him. He had asked her to come and speak to him, and he had many, many questions for her. I think what's really remarkable is that within the next year, he decided to retire, and at the age of 67. And one of the things she told him was that he really needed to do more sadhana, and that in his present job, he was so wrapped up in things of this world that he was going to have trouble doing that. So he actually did retire, and within 6 months, he had left his body. I think it's extraordinary that he had this opportunity to hear Ma's teachings directly from her in answer to his questions, and then to go on and change his life and follow some of Ma's instructions. So let's see. Question by this is sort of the middle of their interview. Question by the Honorable President. The mind is disturbed. It deviates easily. Concentration is broken. Is there any remedy for this? Sri Ma. The concentration is broken because of the perplexity inside. The mind is unsteady, hence the distraction. The remedy is abhyasa, practice. The Bhagavad Gita tells us, practice abhyasa yoga. Fix the mind in practice. See, Pitaji, what a marvelous thing this abhyasa is. Once the abhyasa is accomplished, the practices occur automatically, whether one wishes to do them or not. Take, for example, the act of eating. When in the midst of eating the light goes off, the hand does not go astray, it goes straight into the mouth. This is a normal thing. How does this abhyasa work? This practice work? You are nitya yukta. You are Brahman, one who is with the self eternally. That's your real identity. That nitya yoga, this eternal yoga, this abhyasa yoga, is there within you. Only by practice is that yoga combined with the results. What is the result of being yukta, joined or united or concentrated? This abhyasa takes you to a state, and yoga takes you beyond that state. It destroys the vikshepa, the obstacle, and removes the avaran, the veil of ignorance. The anishta, the undesirable, is destroyed. What is anishta? It means a thing that is not ishta, desired. The veil and perplexity are not desirable, so they are destroyed. Why are they not desirable? Because they are not a blessed thing. Once that anishta is destroyed, the ishta, the chosen form of God, the blessed, the desirable, is revealed. Therefore, a person should always be engaged in smaranam, remembrance of God, japa, repetition of the divine name, and dhyanam, meditation. Fix your mind and intellect on those things. Engage all the time. What will happen when you practice like that? Just like the electric light is on as soon as you push the button, even so, that Nitya Prakash, ever-shining light, appears on its own. It is the same process with electricity also. The electricity is already there, existing invisibly. When you push the button, you just connect your household electric appliance with that ever-flowing invisible electricity. Similarly, when you are engaged in the abhyasa, ever engaged in uniting with that eternal power, the Shakti, the divine power, starts flowing in you invisibly. The very moment the button in you is on, is pushed, that Yukta Mahayogi, the eternal divine yogi, whom you yourself are, is manifested. Once he is manifest, Vikshepa, obstacle, and Avaran, the veil of ignorance, will both be destroyed. The destructible will be destroyed, and the Ishta, chosen form of God, will be left with you. Ishta means the Mahayogi in the form of you. Whether you are going on Bhakti Marg, Kriya Marg, or Jnana Marg, that's the path of devotion, action, or knowledge, he will manifest on that very path. Whether you are a Bhakti Yogi, Kriya Yogi, or Jnana Yogi, you are no doubt a yogi. You yourself are Mahayogi. You are he only. That very self in you manifests in the form of him. Once he is seen, all this vikshepa, bewilderment, and avaran, veil of ignorance, are destroyed. The vikshepa is not destroyed until he is seen. Therefore, one should try to practice regularly and should engage himself in his talks, his stories, his remembrance, his japa, and his dhyanam in the very path he prefers. But unfortunately, this world does not allow one to be engaged in them, because the mind is in the habit of doing things that create perplexity and unsteadiness. And as the mind is in the practice of doing such things, it is automatically pulled toward them. And again, those things create bewilderment in the mind of the person. The mind is occupied with only these worldly things, and it runs after them. As he, this kind of person, has developed his practice only in them, he is united with them. But if instead he tries to unite with Paramartha, the supreme goal, and his Ishta, his chosen form of God, the Shanta Swarupa, the ever-peaceful Lord, who is the embodiment of peace, will manifest in him, and he will be relieved of his bewilderment. Jai Ma.
What a wonderful reading. Wow.
I know.
Yeah, with the President of India. Well, first of all, tell us your comments and thought about this, Pragya.
Oh, well, I love this talk, these questions that he answers of the president. I mean, and the fact, as we were just saying, perhaps like ourselves, because of his lifestyle and his responsibilities in the world, and, you know, I could say of myself, because of my engagement in, you know, worldly worries about what's going on in our country or whatever, because of that, you know, we're unable to practice, to do this abhyasa of complete absorption in the ultimate reality. And she's challenging him to do that. And I love that he actually, I mean, we can assume that's what happened when he's resigned and retired. And so for me, that's a huge wake-up call. You know, he was 67, I'm 79. you know, when am I going to be 100% immersed? And so there's that. But I also love this electricity metaphor. Don't you love that?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
the electricity's already there in the cords. We see them right here on the floor, and yet we haven't turned it on. So she's constantly telling us, you are this Nitya Yogi. The electricity is flowing in you. All you need to do is turn the switch. How amazing is that? So, and with her grace, it can happen. So, I can't read this talk often enough. It's really, it's a talk for me.
Yeah, you've read excerpts of it before. It's all amazing. Yeah. And think of the influence Ma had. That was the president of India. Later, Indira Gandhi came to her. Before this, Mahatma Gandhi came, she visited him in his ashram, and he loved her and asked her to stay with him and all this, She just, by her moving around, she just influenced so many people, and it was incredible. Yeah, to me, this Ma is speaking these eternal words that come out of the East. All the religions and spiritual paths that come from India have this unique genius, which somehow got missed by Western scholars and many mystics even, that we're not creating something new. This earlier we read how our relationship with Ma is not something new. We're reestablishing it. And the genius of India is the great rishis saw that we are perfect inside. We are this wonderful spiritual being, and we just have to uncover it. And so Ma is emphasizing that everything is there already. Like this electricity is in the switch. Just turn the switch. I mean, it's in the line. Turn the switch. So that's always encouraging. And I found in my life, I met many saints, in both India and abroad. I was able to meet many saints, and a saint can say something that you've read 1,000 times, and it goes into your soul in a totally different way. So so we may have read these words many times in scriptures. You are the eternal Brahman. You are that Tat-Tvamasi. All these things. When Ma looks at you and says, "Look, you are that." Oh, that lucky man. No wonder. I mean, again, we're hearing Ma's words now. So let her voice say that to us. Because when Ma would look at when Ma would just look at you, she could wake you up, because she would look right at your soul, what other people don't see. So when Ma looked at that president and said, "You are that Nitya Yogi," no doubt woke it up in him. Yeah, because it really is true. We are the fact that we can do sadhana is the grace of God, but we are the yogi deep inside of us is there. You have to just uncover it. So this really encapsulizes. Is that the word? This is the fullness of Ma's teaching. 1, you're already that. 2, abhyas, practice. Ma would just never tire of emphasizing that we have to have a practice. We have to daily apply ourselves. She would frequently use the words sustained effort. By sustained effort, this will be accomplished. Sustained effort. So we have to daily have a practice, daily apply ourselves in whatever way we can, in a natural way, whatever our time allows, whatever our physical capacity allows, whatever our mind allows. Somehow make that practice daily and steady. The Bhyas Yoga, the yoga of practice. That's her main thing. And then she says, it's smarana. We've forgotten God. That's the trouble with human nature. We think we're separate. We've forgotten God. The more we remember God anyway, smarana means remembrance. We remember God in any way. And she talked about the divine name. Having the mantra we repeat as much as we can. So she's saying, if you think of what she said, do japa, repeat a mantra, practice steady meditation, sing kirtan, all these things. She's saying these are the tools we have. When we remember God, it'll slowly keep dawning on us that we are a part of that. She said, try to see everyone as a manifestation of God, and don't neglect the one who's singing. In the sense that we are a manifestation of God also. So she's just reminding us, get out of, as I said in the beginning, we have to break out of these old stale thoughts of just little me, my story, going around and around. Learn how to still the mind and awaken these inner capacities we have. And Ma is the catalyst that will do that. Ma is the already awakened consciousness that by looking at her, gazing at her, reading her words like we're doing, this will happen. But it has to happen. We have a part to play in there. We have to also practice abhyas.
Yes, Jema, I just wanted to add one more thing. that word abhyasa in Sanskrit has always meant a lot to me. When I was studying Sanskrit, we were one of our practices, we were translating an Advaita scripture called The Realization of the Absolute. And I was trying to really understand, because in this book, in this philosophical text from I don't know what century, the person writing it was talking about the great yogic Mahavakyas, you know, I am that, and so forth. And I was like, it can't just be that if you say them enough, you'll understand. There must be something else. And finally, I found the word was abhyasa, was throughout the whole chapter, and that only through practice would we be able to have, you know, the realization, the actual experience. So I love that Ma's talking about the importance of practice in this segment.
Yeah, and she constantly stresses that. Yeah, it's true. Abhyas. Well, that's it. Look, Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, you know, he's standing in the place of every human. He's every human, and he asks Krishna, who is the God, how do we calm the mind? And Krishna says, Abhyas and Vairagya. So the Abhyas is practice, Vairagya is detachment, is detaching ourselves from all these external things. Again, Mas never said go to a jungle, leave everything behind. We take away our attachment to these things while still doing them in a responsible way, and then practice, and then if the results come. Ma is so clear in it, you know. It's just, and what's encouraging, Ma never says anything new. She says what all the scriptures say, all the saints have said. Otherwise, we would be very suspicious. If someone comes up with a new truth, watch it. Good. So does anyone, we have time now, if people would like to share, we'd love to have people share. Now let's keep it on the subject of Ma, her teachings, what she means to us, whatever, you know, but we're talking about Ma here. I would love to hear how people have come to Ma, how people have been touched by Ma, what their practice is. Any questions about or comments about the readings, anything? You look like you have something.
I do. I was thinking, first of all, Pragya, it was a great reading, and I love your comments, and yours too, on how to do it. But Mangalananda and I have been talking a lot about the world and the wars and just the terrible stuff, and maybe feeling guilty, like we should get in there and help, but that's not where we are. Right now, we are in a place where we can do our sadhana, so we're going to do it.
Yeah, that's what we can do.
Yeah.
It's true. We're thinking about the people in Ukraine, you know, and missiles are dropping out of the sky and blowing people up, and people in Gaza starving. And we realize, you know, we're here, we're very peaceful, we're well fed. We have, you know.
I mean, it doesn't mean we need to send money and protest.
Absolutely, help. But the thing is, we're not in that place because we've been given a practice, a teacher, and we've been given by the grace of God time to do it, where we're not having to look at the sky for missiles. We just have to be we have to spend our time wisely doing our practice, which we try to do. You know, we're both working full time. We spend several hours, like 3.5 hours a day in sadhana. Yeah, so it's true. If we have the knowledge of sadhana and we have the time to do it, whoa, we should do it. We should really do it. We should be grateful for the time and be aware of the situation and of our blessings to do it and really practice. Yeah. Anybody have anything? We would love to share.
Arpita.
Arpita.
Hi, Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
I think it's also important to stress that the practice is not just formal practice, but it's our daily life and what's in front of us, what we do, just the daily living that we all have, our karma, and our daily life, and to bring the practice, because if it's not in there, then it's not worth very much, because then it becomes empty ritual or habits. So I just feel like it's really important to stress that the things that we do every day is a big part of our spiritual practice. Whatever is given to us to do.
Yes. Thank you, Albert. It's true. That's a very good point. Nothing is separate from sadhana. Sadhana is not just doing some fancy ritual with incense and flowers and throwing lights around. Sadhana is every moment of our day, every decision we make, the way we, even our diet, the way we relate to people, the things we say, everything. Everything is true. It's all part of sadhana. Nothing is separate, and it should all be looked on that way. Ma always said, the standard you judge things by is, how will this affect my sadhana? This relationship I have with this person, this person that wants to befriend me, will it help my sadhana or will it distract me? She said, those who bring you closer to God are your friends. Those who distract you are not your friends. A job, will this be compatible with my sadhana? We should acquire, that should be the standard, the gold standard by which we measure everything. How does this affect my sadhana? And it's true, our sadhana is the way we brush our teeth, the way we drive our car, the way we move through the world, the way we relate to people, the decisions we make. Is this honest? Is this dharmic? Or is it adharmic? Something that is unrighteous? Is this action going to take me further from God? Ma speaks often, and Pragya mentioned it also, about this avarana. Avarana is the veil that keeps us from experiencing that we are that true self. It's the veil which is made up of thoughts, of the discursive mind, of desires, of impressions, and all these lifetimes. And the density of it is by the adharmic actions. When we lie, when we cheat, when we hurt someone, when we do things that are just totally selfish, we add to that the thickness of that curtain. And when we live dharmically, when we have our daily practice, and when we try to be kind and charitable and honest and things like that, that makes that veil more translucent, and eventually sadhana will break through it. But the avarana is made up of adharmic thoughts and actions. So we have to watch that and really make sure we don't add to the density of the veil, but rather we keep trying to make it clearer and clearer so we can eventually go through it to the self. Yeah, thank you, Arpita. That's a huge, important question. Nothing's separate from sadhana. It's like, to give an example, we knew an Indian man, Swami Gurusharan's father, let's put it that way, Swami Gurusharan's father, who was a saint, literally a righteous Sikh man who lived and died in God. He one time worked for this man who was on the board of one of the ashrams of Ma that I lived in, but he was amazed how the man's business was so unscrupulous. He was cheating people right and left. And so Swami Gurusharan's father asked him, "Isn't this adharmic? What are you doing?" And the guy just said, "Spiritual life is one thing. This is business. They're separate. They're separate." And so he quit the job. He would not work for him. Because Swami Gurusharan's father, he was a righteous man. So there isn't this business and spirituality. There's no. It's all the same thing. We have to live by our spiritual standards. How difficult it is. We all make mistakes, but that's the goal we should have. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Anyone else? Please don't feel shy to share. I love to hear how people came to Ma, how people are touched by Ma in their daily life. Anyone?
Yes, I can share.
Thank you.
Well, I think you know how I came to Ma, but I will say it again. I was scrolling on Instagram and she showed up. One of the Instagram accounts for her showed up. And then I don't remember, but I knew that she had come in knowing that she was a realized being. And I don't think it was from the Instagram, but I just knew. And then I decided to go to Shivananda Ashram in the Bahamas to meet you, Acharya Mangalananda, to learn more about Ma. And I recall that you were speaking about her, or you had done kirtan, and then you had us be silent. And I was sitting there and I heard this voice saying, "Come back, come back, come back." And to this date, I wish I hadn't come back because I was, blissed out.
So I really appreciate Prajna's reading today, because I have hadn't been doing my sadhana because something happened that for me was so didn't make sense in terms of people teaching me one thing and doing another. And it has been a very sad time. This has been one of the most difficult years of my entire life. But last night, Ma said, pick up my book and read me. So I did before I went to bed. And then I went to bed holding the book as if she were, if it were a stuffed animal. I just went to bed holding the book. And then this morning I woke up and I thought, is there satsang today? And so here I am.
Yay!
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, in every religion and every organization, every institution, which is institution sometimes a curse, there's always going to be the human element. The human ego. The human ego's aim is to screw up everything in any way possible, you know. And when the ego gets religious, oh boy, is it dangerous then. So, you know, expect imperfection from the human side, but God is perfect. And all these traditions, well, India itself, Sanatana Dharma, the eternal path of righteousness, misnomered Hinduism, is so ancient that a lot of strange things have crept in as superstition. There's a lot of superstition. I mean, the basis of Sanatana Dharma is absolute scientific, precise truth. I mean, it's Sanatana, it's eternal, God-revealed reality. But within that, a lot of weirdness has crept in. We were talking today about some of the Brahminical weirdness that we've experienced. And you just have to overlook, okay, that's the human side of it, and in all the world's religions, in Christianity and Buddhism, there's some stuff that's crept in from the human ego. So we have to just, like they say, the Paramhansa, the great swan, is able to sip the milk and separate it from the water, or separate the sand from the sugar from the sand. So we have to just learn to be discriminating and realize, okay, this is an institutional thing. There's some problems here, but let's look at the essence of what's going on, what's the teachings, and what we can glean from it that's useful for us. Yeah. So yeah, welcome back.
Yes.
Nirmala, we're happy to see you.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. And, I think that this was one of those lessons that really awaken you to, if you are going to hang on to your faith and sadhana, you also have to have the radical acceptance of where we are, and that this loka is not perfect, and find compassion for others. So that has been the work this year, and Ma has held my hand. Finally, I got so down. I said, "Oh yeah, I heard a story about a man who had been in such a severe car accident, and a Vedic astrologer said this man should be dead. And who is his guru?" And he was told, the Vedic astrologer was told, Anandamayi Ma, and he said, "Oh yeah, that's why this man is still alive."
Yeah.
And so I remembered that story, and I said, oh, okay, I'm not going to try to continue to fix all of this on my own. Ma, please help. Pahi Ma.
That's a good attitude. Yeah, ultimately, the whole thing is utter surrender to Ma. And that's a lifelong process of learning how to do that. And the more we can do it, I once asked our teacher who ran the ashram I was staying in Ma's ashram in Omkareshwar, how do I surrender more? And he said, the moment you surrender, the very split second, you totally surrender to Ma. Simultaneous with that surrender is full enlightenment. He said it's all a matter of learning that, just letting go and letting Ma do it. But it's this strange paradox in that Ma is doing the sadhana, Ma is doing everything, but we still have a part to play. In our sadhana, we can't just say, okay, Ma, you do everything. I one time did a study. It was a very enlightening study. I'd been traveling in India, and I kept hearing all these people with their gurus saying, oh, Guruji, I can do nothing. You do it all for me. I can't do anything. I can't do the practice. I just take refuge in you. See, there's a false refuge. Just as there's a false being in the moment, not taking responsibilities for the next moment, there's a false sense of taking refuge where I can't do anything, you do everything. Ultimately, that's true, but on the practical level, it's not. So I took all these books I had. I took the great ones, Swami Ramdas Vinandashram, Sri Ramakrishna Paramhansa, Swami Shivananda, Ma, and Ramana Maharshi. You can't get better than that. Those are these great divine beings who happen to be alive at the same time. And I looked up and saw how they answered this question. They all said, oh, Guruji, I can't do anything, you do it for me. They all said, hey, it doesn't work that way. Ma said it very beautifully. Ma said, how is it, to the person asking the question, she said, how is it that you're fully capable of living your daily life, of making money, of running your family, of entertaining yourself, but when it comes to spiritual life, suddenly you're a complete paraplegic. You're just like, I can't do anything. She said, apply that same energy by which you live your life, by which your ego does its things. Apply that same energy to spiritual life, and you'll be successful. So it was really interesting to read. I made a little notebook of it, like how they all answered. They all answered their own way. They said, it doesn't work that way. You take refuge, but you have a part to play. You still have to do the sadhana, you have to do this. And through the sadhana, you really do come to the point where you really surrender. Not just, see this saying like, I can't do anything, you do everything, Guru. That's just laziness. That's just complacency. But you come to the point where you really not just intellectually understand, but you see it's the Divine Mother's who's doing everything. Like there's an Upanishad, a beautiful Upanishad, where all the deities have just defeated the demons, the powers of darkness, in this eternal struggle of light against darkness. The deities were all there, and they were rejoicing that we defeated the enemy. And so, at that point, I've got to turn this. Let's see. We made some noise from outside. Okay, I'm putting on the mutes because there's some noise outside. So the deities were suddenly there, and suddenly there was this divine feminine form on the side. And so all the elements, all the different minor deities were saying, go ask who it is. So Agni, the god of fire, came up and said, who are you? And she just said, who are you? I am the god of fire. And so this radiant being took a blade of dry grass and said, burn that. And just like in the Three Pigs, he huffed and he puffed and he tried to blow the house down. Agni tried to burn that little blade of grass. He couldn't do it. So he retreated. He came over. So all the different deities came up. I am the god of wind. I'm Vayu. I control the wind. So she said, blow this blade of grass away. He couldn't do it. They all came back. So finally, who was the king? Indra, the king of all the minor deities who rule the different elements of nature and help run the universe in a hierarchical way. Finally, Agni came up and said, who are you, divine being? She said, I am Mahashakti. I'm the supreme power. I'm the divine goddess. You think you just won this victory? It was only by my power you won it. So we can't even blink our eyes without Ma. We can't do that. That's the Divine Mother giving us energy to do that. So through our sadhana, we get to a point where we experience that my gosh, Ma is doing everything. And then when we don't just intellectually understand it, when we really experience it, then we let go this act of that we're doing anything, and then the realization comes. So that's the real surrender, not the lazy surrender. Anybody, please, surely people have anything more to share.
Do you see? Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, I'm so thankful to be here and to make a live satsang. Full disclosure, I know a lot of you because I've gone back in many months, so I've watched quite a few, and thank you for the recordings. They've been most helpful. But yeah, Ma is a new experience for me, but an old experience for me. A lot of everything that's been said, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna add anything new to the equation here, but I will say with her in my life, especially the time that she's come to me, is also kind of a critical time. I became unemployed, and then I thought, okay, I have this time. I'm gonna do a 7-day meditation retreat. I've never done anything like that meditation wise. I barely do anything, but I'm gonna sit down and do this. And needless to say, I was getting destroyed by the whole process. Like my egoic self was just like a monster, just not having any of it. And it was in this chaos, and I was reaching out to my support network, and I feel like I felt like I was failing. That's when she entered into my life, and it was through the blessed site, and I'm starting to go through all the different terms. But with me, it's been very interesting. Like it was um, not as gentle as I've heard of other stories. Like with Ma was more like a SWAT team at the door, so to speak, and she kicked the whole thing down. And it was very powerful. Like I remember I was just moved to tears, and it was just like in various different points, and just acquiring as much materials as I can. But the amazing thing, and it's just like the universality. She'll meet you wherever you are, and I felt like she's right here, and a constant. It was said in one of the satsangs, like you take one step towards me, I'll take 10 steps towards you, and I feel like that's the challenge, like constant. That for me, it's like faith. I had faith growing up. I grew up Roman Catholic, and I was quite into that church. I was the head altar boy at my parish, and I was even pegged to go to the priesthood. I went to an archdiocese and a whole bunch of stuff. But then that was completely shut off. Then I was like, just science, right? Science will be the way, and everything through there. And then lately, as I've gotten older and I have a family of my own, I start to experience, hey, no, there's something else at play here. There's something else that's going on that I can't quite understand. And I'm sure through a lot of us, negative things happen, those challenges, those crises that come up. And I've had a few of those, but it really, for me, like the big thing that's coming through is faith. I used to come almost kind of ridicule people that had this intense faith, devotion in these things that I thought that were fantastic, right? Like, wow, like look at that person. They're so devotional in whatever form or whatever. And I almost thought that was like a crazy, almost like through there. But I'm understanding now, like it's through that complete faith. Megalananda, you have a beautiful song that you say, like Roma, Roma, in every cell, like every cell. If you can put this in every cell, what would happen? And I feel like that's the challenge, like to completely allow yourself. And Ma with me is constantly giving me tools. I have a monkey mind. Things are constantly going on. So she's constantly giving me things to deal with, like the repetition of God's name. That's a great tool. It's a great simple thing to constantly keep going on. And it's been very helpful. And that's the amazing thing. I'm just like, I don't know where this is going. I'm just kind of letting go of the steering wheel, and just as things are coming, I'm just following along. And I just also wanted to say thank you to all of you that have been participating, because the stories and the words are what make it come alive for me. I'm very analytical. So when I start to hear things, it starts to come alive. But then there's a certain point where I have to let that go. And I'm having trouble with the letting go part, but the words are incredible, and the stories, and just I love the history as well too, just knowing how she grew up, and she talks like that, and she grew up like that. It's just, again, it's incredible. So I'm so thankful to be here, Jay Ma, and yeah, thank you for everybody hearing me out.
Steve, thank you for that beautiful sharing. I, as Nirmala was talking earlier, when I met Nirmala in the Bahamas, I said the same thing. I said, you have all the earmarks of being grabbed by Ma, all the symptoms in different ways. In different ways, everyone has their own symptoms, being grabbed by Ma. The ashram would send me traveling every summer to teach classes and do kirtan and stuff. And I met so many people who came to Ma, and I love hearing these stories. Steve, I love hearing your story. That's so beautiful, so authentic. I just love hearing how Ma, excuse me, how Ma has stepped out and touched people's lives. And she just does, and she's still doing it. And I love hearing it. It's so beautiful how it just she comes to us. Like I say, I like to think about the SWAT team at the door. Yeah, that's in the Ma way too. And she does sometimes come very gently and sometimes very powerfully. But she's as you say, she's there for us, and we have to just let her in and keep remembering.
Some people even call her last minute Ma.
Last minute Ma, yeah, I guess she does sometimes show up at the last minute. She keeps you hanging to the last minute. So that's beautiful. Just keep following that lead, and we're so happy you could join us in person. And know that this is your community. This is your sangha. That we're all here together with this. I think so. Thank you, Steve, for that sharing. It's beautiful, really wonderful. Do we how's the time? Pragya, Renu, do you have anything else you want to add?
Are we gonna meditate?
Yeah, we can meditate a little bit. I'll just make sure people have time to share. Anybody else have anything? We have time. Love to hear from you.
I just want to say it's good to be back. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Hi, Mangalanandaji. I just wanted to chime in here. I'm so grateful for this, of course, and for doing this in the West. We don't have a lot of centers of Ma in the West, but this is such a good thing that we're doing. I just wanted to ask, what was Ma's recommendation on the practices that we do? Like her recommendation was to do more, meditation or breath work or chanting God's names. What was her way of, going more deeper into the sadhana?
Well, she said a beautiful thing, which I've mentioned before, how people use the excuse, I don't have a guru, I haven't been given a practice. She said, just find a practice that works for you, that's suitable to you. And it could be anything. It could be a pranayama, it could be chanting, it could be studying scriptures, something that really works for you. Like I think the most things he recommended was the repetition of mantra. But she said, find a practice and just work with that practice daily, religiously, and in any way you can, according to your schedule. And she said, if more is needed, it will come to you on its own. And I've seen that in many people's lives. I have seen it in my life 100%, how Ma would always add, she would give a certain instruction, and then she would add things more later and say, add this on. In my case, Ma left her body after a few years after I met her. So I was in her lineage, and different teachers came to me and gave me the things I need. Like Swami Bhaskaranaji was Ma's main disciple, my main Swami, a wonderful, wonderful realized saint. And at one point, he was coming to visit, and he said, prepare yourself. I want you to receive the Gayatri Mantra Upanayanam. It's an initiation to Gayatri Mantra. And I later found that I have a real deep samskara from previous lives. Another saint told me about it. So it came to me right at the right time, and it was a huge uplift to my practice. He said, add this, keep your other practice. So Ma spoke through, he was literally just Ma's hands and feet and mouth. He was so one with Ma, and Ma just used him as her instrument. So I mean, I've seen that in my life many different times. At the exact time I need it, something comes. We've seen it in our lives, together here too. So just start practicing with something, and more will be added as you move along. If we're not working with what we've been given, nothing more will come.
What about japa, puja, pa?
Yeah. Ma talked about sometimes it's called 5, sometimes 6 things. She said, japa, dhyan. No, first thing was satsang. She said, keep satsang. That's so important. Satsang, japa, dhyan, puja, pat, kirtan. So in other words, keeping company with devotees, trying to meet saints when you can, reading scriptures, this is all satsang. And also satsang, company with truth. It's what thoughts you keep too. That's also satsang. If we're observing our minds and we're saying, why are all these rowdy thoughts coming in, this and that, and jealousy and blah, and lust and anger and greed and all these things? That's a satsang. Keep good thoughts. Keep company of good thoughts within ourselves. That's the real satsang. And the company we keep, satsang, japa, repetition of divine names as much as possible, dhyanam, some form of meditation. There are many forms. Ma recommended, just saying the mantra with the breath, and you go deeper. There's different kinds of scriptural meditation, pranayama type meditation. Oh, with Yogananda's thing, that Kriya Yoga is a wonderful meditation. Pot is that's not always included. That's just recitation of scriptures, like chanting Hanuman Chalisa, Ma Chalisa, Devi Mahatman, the Gita. You know, that's very helpful too. And then what was the last one?
Puja?
Puja, some form of relating to the divine. People say, "Oh, all these empty rituals." That's the people who say that have never experienced ritual. I'm a great ritualist myself. I love ritual. Um, and when we make some offering, when we make some external thing, it can be so small, and it's not small in God's eyes. Like Krishna says in the Gita, those who just offer me some water, a leaf, a flower, I accept that gladly if it's done with love. So if we just have some form of acknowledging divinity, it's very helpful in our lives. It shapes our samskara. It gives us something to do to relate. You know, just have a picture of your Ishtadevata, or you know, some way you relate to God. Of course, it's usually Ma, but Krishna, Rama, Durga, Jesus Christ, anything. And we just do a simple, just offer a light, a flower, a little incense, and some water. You know, just it doesn't have to be a big elaborate thing. Just offer a little something that is part of your daily ritual. And that's very, very helpful. I can tell you through years and years of experience. I do a puja every morning. And all these things are very interesting. So puja, some form of acknowledging, offering something. You know, it's such a beautiful thing. I mean, God, everything belongs to God. What can we offer to God? But someone explained it very beautifully that if there's a beautiful garden owned by a landowner, and he has a gardener who's very devoted to the land and to the owner, the gardener takes some flowers and makes, you know, that he grew, which they all belong to the landowner. You know, he's not given anything that's not already his. He brings a bouquet of flowers and gives it to the landowner. The landowner is very moved. Oh, thank you for me. It's his own flowers. He owns them already. But it's the act of homage with love. It touches his heart. So, you know, everything belongs to God. The flowers belong to God. The flowers are God. They're manifestations of Ma. But the fact that we look on God, again, we're not talking about a non-dual thing. This is a dualistic I and God type of thing, which eventually develops into non-dual. But we just offer with devotion and love a small thing. It's received by God, and it's very helpful to us. So does that help? Those things are just however we can do it. Practice regular. You have a good practice, I know.
Thank you, Mangalanji. Yes, that definitely helps. Because yeah, I definitely do some of those. Not like I would not say I'm perfect in everything. I try to do as best as I can. But you know, sometimes yeah, this stuff comes up in the life. But yeah, I try to do meditation and you know and some exercise, physical activity, you know, and go out in the nature, and you know, and also interacting with spiritual community that matters so much. And I also have a little Shivalinga and a photo of Ma, and I burn some incense, and I do, you know, offer some holy water to Shivalinga, which helps me. Yeah, I mean, thanks for telling me how to do the practices the right way.
Good, good. And see, Yatish, this is abhyas, what we were talking about earlier. What you're doing, this is abhyas. This is practice. Just keep it up. You know, we sometimes think our effort is so small, we're trying to capture the eternal, immortal, all-encompassing God. How can I possibly do that? We can't. But we just take our small little toddler steps, one step at a time, and we will get there eventually. You know, so that's wonderful. Just keep it up. It's doing great. Yeah. It's true. We can always do more. We can always do better, but we don't beat ourselves up about it. You know, we just do the best we can. Okay. Anything else? I want glad you just open it for anything else. Any other questions or sharings anyone like to do? Well, let's meditate for a few minutes. If you like, I can just begin talking us through this kind of according to Ma's, which she frequently recommended. Okay, so let's just sit quietly and make sure the body is upright but relaxed. Because the first concentration is relaxed awareness. It's not furrowing of the brow and forcing the mind anywhere. It's letting the mind rest in awareness. So first of all, we relax the body. We just feel, let all the facial muscles relax, the head, the neck, kind of just scan down the body and make sure all muscles are just at ease and nothing's tensed. And then we relax the mind, the mental process. We just let it unwind and just we don't keep the wheels turning. We just stop and relax the mind. Let it unwind. And then we make sure the mind is resting in the present moment. That's very crucial. We let go of the past, let go of the future. Feel now, the eternal space of now, and our own awareness within now. And in that space of now, we feel the breath moving. Ma always said, join the mantra to the breath. So we start by just feeling the natural movement of the breath, the natural rhythm, its touch of the nostrils, its moving in, and just watch the whole movement of the breath in and out without trying to regulate it, just watching it, letting the mind sink into the breath. And then we take whichever name we say and mentally repeat it, intone it with the natural inhalation and exhalation. For instance, when we inhale, we just enchant Om Ma. As you exhale, Om Ma, Om Ma, Om Ma. Let the mantra vibrate the breath. Breathe the mantra in and let it vibrate the breath. And as we continue this, the last step is we do it with loving attention. We don't just do it as a rote practice. Each breath, we're remembering with longing, with gratitude, with love, any bhav that comes up, connect that to the practice. So with each breath, we're moving in and out in love. And we just continue this for as long as we can. We'll sit for a few minutes doing this. Om Bhavatapa Pranashinye Ananda Ghanamurtaye Jnana Bhakti Pradayanye Matastubhyam Namo Namaha. O you who carry us across the being of this world, who are the embodiment of bliss, who hold knowledge and devotion in your hand, to that Divine Mother we bow again and again. Jai Ma. So thank you all for coming. Pragya, do we have some announcements? I know we have some. Please.
Oh,
share with us.
Jema, yes. Well, this Tuesday we have a satsang. If you're receiving our emails or if you go on our website, which is www.anandamayimaashram.com. And then this Sunday, a very special celebration. This is the 9 days of celebration of Devi, of the goddess, which is what we studied last week with Swami Guru Sharan. So a week from today, we have our Navaratri Kirtan Satsang Devi Puja. And we'll do puja and arati. It should be really beautiful. And we also who just arrived, we have Ramani.
Jema.
She just drove from Michigan. And Ramani is hosting the retreat at Masharanam in January from the 18th to the 30th. And she has a lot of people signed up already, 12 to be exact. So we're hoping to keep it to 15. So if you're at all interested in the best trip to India you could ever imagine, to see Swami Guru Sharan and study there with him at this paradise that is Masharanam, you should be writing to Ramani. Universal Bhakti something.
Yeah, Universal Bhakti 108.
There it
At
is.
gmail.com.
So yeah, those are our announcements.
Good. Wonderful. Yeah, so please look on that anandamayimaashram.com and you'll see Pragya's schedule. She's offering satsangs regularly and doing wonderful things. And we're here every third Sunday. And yeah, I'll be there with Ramani also at the retreat with Swami Guru Sharan. It'll be a really wonderful time together. Let's see, anything else we have? I don't think so. Navaratri starts tomorrow. These 9 days of the Divine Mother are very powerful for doing sadhana and just remembering the Mother in any way you can, even if you want to offer a little candle at night or something. She receives everything, and she's the divine power of the universe, manifested also as Anandamayi Ma. So it's a good time for sadhana. Yeah. Okay, so everyone, I guess we're closing, right?
Jema.
Thank you for joining us, and blessings to all. And if you want to just unmute and say goodbye, we always loved hearing from you.
Goodbye.